Hello and welcome to the first video I'm putting out on my brand new map, which is on the Minecraft Marketplace. You can download it right now, and it is called Infinity Dungeon. And before we start, I already know there's another one on the Marketplace called Infinity Dungeon. This one here by Jigabov Productions, and this is not mine. So if you're looking for mine, do not download this one by mistake. By all means, do download this one if you want to play it. Someone else has made this, and I'm sure it's absolutely brilliant. But that is not mine. Why did you call your map the same thing as someone else's? Well, technically I didn't. I wasn't the one that came up with the name, and I just assumed that name wasn't taken because the people that did come up with it are the people that have published this map through the Marketplace. And it wasn't until it was actually submitted that I found out there was another map called Infinity Dungeon. So my bad, I should have done my due diligence. I should have checked beforehand, but unfortunately I didn't, and now there are two maps with the same name. Pretty much. But don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine because that's as far as it goes in terms of the similarities. Everything else is 100% unique and different. Anyway, so we are here. We've spawned in at this point here, and in front of me there is a book that basically gives you some tips on what to do around the area when you get started. And there is a signboard with all of the amazing people that have helped make this map possible. We've got Miss T Cats, Isu the Bearded Swine, Arman 1031, Val Anti-Dizzy, The Real Deal Pick, GM Rencheed, Elysian, and Diver Cat 42, and they make up the FAB Build Team. Basically, Foxy's awesome builders. They are those guys, and they have done most of the building work around this map. Now, I have done some, but my job was mainly to do all of everything else, making all the mobs, making the textures, making everything, really. They did the building and I did the rest. Before we go any further, I just want to say that there is a competition to win an awful lot of mine coins within this video. If you keep watching, instructions for how to win 1,720 mine coins will be explained to you a little bit later on, so keep your eyes peeled for that if you want to win lots and lots of mine coins. Anyway, that's enough waffling on to the start. When you load up this map, you could obviously give this book a read to find out what's going on, but I would then urge you strongly to go and find yourself some equipment. And basically, we've got 4 houses in this area. You can pick whichever one you want if you're playing with friends, or you can loot them all if you want. But if you go inside of these houses, you will find, if you look around the cupboards, you might find a little bit of food, like this, which is going to be very important when you're down in the dungeon. And you may find, if you look through the cupboards upstairs, some weapons and equipment. So make sure you have a good look round. All of these little houses here contain some, and you may find other bits and bobs around the area as well, but I'm not going to give any spoilers away in these videos. You can find all of that out for yourselves. Once you've got yourself a little bit of equipment, you might want to nip over to the difficulty board and decide if you want to change the difficulty of the game. Now, I'm going to put mine on normal mode, which is the recommended mode. That's the mode it was designed on. But if you're finding that a bit of a challenge, you can change it to easy at any time. Or if it's not a challenge enough, you can change it to hard mode. Basically, they're the normal Minecraft difficulties, so it's not going to change too much in the game. The next thing you want to do is probably have a little bit of an explore around the area. We've got some shops here, and if we go into the shops, you will find some NPCs that will talk to you. If you stand there and listen, they will tell you things, and some of the stuff you might find from them is relatively important. And if you click on them, you will see that you can get bags of coins and spend them for some weapons. Now, these villagers will change their trades every day. Every day at midnight, they will re-roll their trades. You'll have different things for sale at different prices, so it's a good idea to keep an eye on what stock is in there. Apparently, Jeff says, I've got quite a few items to choose from, Squire. You do indeed, Jeff, but that's enough from you today. Thank you, sir. Strolling around the map, you will bump into this, which I'm not going to tell you what it is or what it does. You're going to have to figure that out for yourselves, but let's just put it this way. It plays quite a key part in this map, so it's a good idea to take the time to probably try and figure that out. Looking around the area a bit more, you will come across more shops. There are quite a few in this area, and they all have useful things to sell, particularly this chap here called Bo, who will sell you quite valuable food items. Going over to check him out, he will tell you stories as well, and you can see that he's got quite a few useful items for sale, particularly enchanted golden apples and golden carrots. Again, you're going to need bags of coins. And if you're wondering where you might get those bags of coins from, it is the bank, where you can go and exchange gems that you will find within the dungeons for bags of coins. You'll see on the right hand side of my screen there is a scoreboard that switches between information and gems. Currently I don't have any gems because I've not been to the dungeon yet, but when I've got gems I can come over here to the gems transfer system and I can press this button and it will transfer any gems I've got into bags of coins. You need 100 gems for one bag of coins, and that will be transferred. If you don't have enough, you won't get a bag of coins. If you go into the bank, you'll meet a person whose face looks a little bit familiar, but we won't go too much into that. Again, this chap here, Alistair, will trade other things for bags of coins as well, so it's not only gems that you can trade. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on the rest of the NPCs in this area. You can figure all that and find it out for yourself. The next place we are going to head over to is the Hall of Trophies, or the Trophy Hall. Making your way around the area will take you through an archery range, which you can have a little bit of fun playing inside of, and if you follow it round far enough, you will get over here to this lovely looking building, and inside of there is where you will get trophies as you go through the game. As you walk in the first time, you will see the trophy room is empty. There is literally nothing in here at all. As you progress through the dungeon and you do more things, you will find trophies that appear in here over time. Once you've got all of the trophies, well then I would probably consider that completion of the game, but this game can go on for as long as you want it to. As you can see, it will turn to night as you're playing in this area, but don't worry, mob spawning is not on, so nothing's going to jump out of the ground and start hurting you, but you can skip the night in the handy bed provided. There is a bed right here in this structure, which is right next to the dungeon entrance, which we've not covered yet, and not far away from the houses, and the reason it's here is for convenience. So that bed isn't really designed to sleep the night away, particularly if you're in multiplayer. There's only one bed and you will all need to sleep in order to pass the night. There's no one player sleep on this. It is, of course, to set your spawn close to the dungeon, because in this game you will die a lot. That is the entire point. You have 10 lives to start with, and they are shared with your group. If you've got more than one player playing this, all of you share those lives, and as each one of you loses a life, you will lose it from that, and at the end of it, it will be game over. But don't worry, game over's not actually game over. When you lose all of your lives, you keep all of your inventory, and you keep the majority of the levels that you've earned. All that happens really is that you lose your progress through the dungeon. So I guess we should probably go to the dungeon to discuss how all of that works. Walking through this area here and through these doors, you will find yourself a button on a redstone lamp. If you click it, you will get a countdown, and at the end of the countdown, you will be transported inside of the dungeon. You didn't get a countdown at all, it just said, please wait. Well, shut up, it's fine. When you land, you'll see your info screen has how many mobs are remaining, how many lives you've got left, and the level of the dungeon you are in. In order to complete the dungeon, there are 25 levels, and when you lose all of your lives, you reset back to level 1. So you don't want to die, but you will die a lot before you level up enough to take on the more advanced parts of the dungeons. And the more you level up, the more health you will get, and the more items you will get, and the better the... Oh jeez, I've already died. The more you play, the more you level up. The more you level up, the harder it gets, the better the loot you get, and the better the dungeons that you get as well. More levels equals more dungeons, equals more weapons, equals more mobs and harder mobs, and you're going to need to defeat the harder mobs in order to get all of the trophies. Now, we got a few witches down here, we got some pirates, we got many custom mobs as well as the vanilla ones as well. In terms of strategy, early on, I would just try your best to get through the dungeon as quickly as possible in order to find all of the different types of loot. You've got these little loot pots that you can smash, which will give you items like arrows as well as gems as well, and a little bit of XP too, and you can also find loot chests. Like this one here, this one's a junk chest. There are different tiers of chests which have different things, and you will also find loot crates as well, which again have different things in. So that's got a splash potion of weakness. We've now got ourselves a relatively decent sword and a way of defending ourselves. Let's give that guy weakness and give him a chop. And there we go. We've used those items. Now you can see over here we've got a gold loot pot. That is a better loot pot than the other ones. It will give you more gems. It will give you better loot. And it will give you more XP as well. And then you get these guys. I wasn't expecting to see one just yet. If you see one of these, give it a whack and then chase it. It will go very fast. You've got to hit it again before it despawns. And it will drop a chest. And inside that chest, you will get a talisman, which will help you. This one will actually give you resistance. Now, wearing one of those will replace any armor you've got on, but it will give you a resistance boost. And if you get the full set, you will get an extra boost of whatever that particular one does. There are lots and lots of loot chests and loot bits to find. You want to go around grabbing as many as possible at the beginning. You can see in those ones I got some emeralds, which is absolutely great. I can trade them. I also got some junk as well. You will find your inventory will fill up pretty quickly in this map. You're going to have to decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to throw away. And if you manage to find one of these little loot elves and it drops you off a box of loot like this, but that loot happens to block a doorway and you can't go through, you can actually smash these chests just by breaking them like that in front of them. You can break proper, actual Minecraft chests in this game, which is very handy if they're in your way. Now, the dungeon will generate in a different way each time with different dungeon rooms and a different path to take. Each dungeon room has 4 exits on each side, but the path you need to take through the dungeon will change every time you reload the dungeon. So every level you increase through the dungeon, or when you get a game over and have to start again, the dungeon will be completely different each time you go in. So it's always going to be a new and different experience. In order to progress through the dungeon, you need to get to the other end of it. Each time the dungeon reloads, there is a path through that will be completely unique, that will take you through a unique selection of dungeon rooms in a unique order. So it's always going to be slightly different. Your mission is to find your path through it without dying in order to get to another room that you will find which has an NPC. Such as this one here, we've got somebody called Porky, who, if you click on them, also have items for sale. Now, no spoilers, once you get to this bit here, you have a book that explains what you can do. You can either choose to go home, which will cost you gems. You'll see if I click on that, I can't afford the checkpoint right now, so I can go home but maintain my position in the dungeon, which means next time I come into the dungeon, I will actually come back to this very point. Or, if I can't afford that or I don't want to go home, I can continue on to the next level of the dungeon. And you will see when we arrive at the next level of the dungeon, we are now on level 2. When the scoreboard switches over on the right hand side, you will see it will say dungeon level 2 with 67 mobs remaining and a whole new dungeon to experience and battle through with all of the loot and things. And you can see we're already on level 4. The more you kill, the more you collect, and the more you explore these dungeons, the more level you will get. And eventually you will level up, get yourself some more hearts, get stronger armor and weapons, and you will become an unstoppable force. Each time you die, you do lose a little bit of XP, which is not always the best thing in the world, but you might find yourself a little experience part like this from time to time, and possibly some charged creepers. But we don't lose our inventory, so it's all good. However, I only have 1 life left now, which means if I die, my dungeon progress is going to be reset. Many of these dungeons have secret areas and places you can go to explore more and find new and better things. Some have better loot, some have treasures, some have all sorts of things that you can find. So yeah, make sure you do a good job of exploring if you really want to make the most of getting your levels. Oh geez. But watch out for all the bad guys, because some of them are pretty tough. And now you can see I have reached level 10, which means I've now got more hearts, which means I can take a little bit more damage, which is very good. And that means I can progress a little bit further into the dungeon, which is also very, very good. Until I get to a bit where I need to do parkour, and then I think, oh geez, I'm not very good at parkour, but I managed it because the parkour was quite easy. With a little bit more battling, I've managed to survive through to the next section of the dungeon, and I do have enough gems to go home or to continue. I don't want to waste gems on going home though, so I'm going to go on to the next level and see what happens on that one. And on the third round of the dungeon, not much has changed. I'm still going around looting as much as possible, getting as much XP as I can, killing as many bad guys as possible, and making my way through another completely unique set of dungeon rooms on another completely unique path through a dungeon until I get to another completely unique endpoint where I will then... Oh, jeez, I died. Which, sadly for me, means it is game over. It's not game over. I'm out of lives. And you can see I haven't lost any of my inventory stuff. I've still got absolutely loads of junk. I've still got all my gems. I did lose a couple of levels, but that's absolutely fine. But now I'm home and I can come and drop off a load of this stuff. Or just organize my inventory or think, do you know what? Some of these items are really useful for trading. So now that I've got lots of gems, I can bring myself over to the ATM and I can stand nice and close to it and I can trade those in for some tasty bags of coins. Now I had over 600 coins, which means I'll be able to get 6 bags of gems. That is it. I said bags of gems, I mean bags of coins. And now I can go and spend those in the shops. And what's most valuable to me now? Is it weapons, is it armor, or is it food? I'm going to go into the armor shop and see if there's anything I can afford. I'm going to speak to Merrick here, who says, "Hey there, future patron. My name is Merrick. It's a pleasure to meet you." Hello, Merrick. What have you got that I can buy? And he's got quite a lot of things that look pretty good. I might get myself then some protection 4 boots. That looks pretty good to me, although that is most of my bags of coins gone. But that's going to give me a lot of protection. Thank you very much, Merrick. I am going to go back into the dungeon now and see what else I can find. Now, if you're watching this video thinking, I really want to play that map, FoxyNoTail, but I just don't have enough mine coins, then fear not. I have a competition currently running, which means that you can win 1,720 mine coins that I have, got to give away. And all you got to do, right? All you got to do is comment on this video with the hashtag Infinity Dungeon. Check in the description below to see exactly how to spell it if you're not sure. All you got to do is leave a comment on this video with the hashtag Infinity Dungeon, and a winner will be picked at random in a couple of days' time from those comments, and they will win 1,720 mine coins. I've already given away 1,720 mine coins today, in fact, to the lucky winner of the last competition. And yes, this is a completely brand new competition, so if you entered the last one and didn't win, feel free to enter this one as well. Anyway, right, I need to concentrate on killing bad guys and not doing competitions so I can get my levels up and try and get deep enough into the dungeon to find myself in a boss fight. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to speed run through this dungeon as quickly as possible. Oh, jeez, oh, it's all going wrong. I'm not speed running very well at all. Oh, jeez. Speed run through to the... I want to get to level 5 to show you guys the next... quick. Fast as you can. Oh, not the labyrinth one. I'll never find the exit. Oh, jeez. Some of these rooms can be incredibly tricky and full of many, many monsters, and sometimes it just feels a little bit impassable. Don't worry though, because once you die and lose all of your lives, you will reset the dungeon and you'll have a whole new bunch of rooms to go through, so it never gets to a point where you can't continue. Now, I'm not actually that far away from where I was in my last clip. I haven't really ventured too much further through the dungeon, and you can see I'm already at level 17. Now, the things in this map will expand and continue to get more and more tricky and more difficult all the way up to level 99, or basically level 100. Once you hit level 99, you're pretty much as high up as you're going to go. You will have unlocked all of the levels, all of the bad guys, and all of the loot, which means that, wow, there we go. Look, we're getting some better equipment now. We're a higher level, which means that you'll be able to go on further and further and do more and more things. Now, I actually need to get over to there, which is a pretty tricky place to get to. Jeez. Whew. Well, I have managed to battle my way through level 4 of the dungeon. I'm about to continue on to level 5. I've still got the most of my lives left. In fact, I still got all of my lives left, which is not like me at all, because I normally die more regularly than this. And this time, when I go in, at the end of this round, something a little bit different is going to happen. But yeah, one last round I got to basically run through as fast as possible. Jeez. Run away! I don't recommend you play it like this. It's just I'm trying to get done quickly to make this video for you. I don't want to spend all day here. Jeez. I'm going to die. Oh, jeez, I'm going to die. Here we go. I managed to find the end of that part of the dungeon, although I may die before I get to the next bit. Please don't die. Spludurk is here to welcome me. Hello, Spludurk. I hope you're doing okay. What have you got for sale, sir? Oh, extra lives. I could do with one of those at the moment, but unfortunately I don't have enough bags of coins. Let's hope I don't die before I get on to the next section. Let's do this. Okay, so I've completed level 5. I'm now heading into the next section of the dungeon, which it says rescue the spirit. This is the first boss fight. Now, I don't want to give too many spoilers away in this area, but in order to progress, you basically got to do what you need to do inside of this room. Now, you'll notice down there is a chest surrounded by 4 what I call elemental crystals, which are floating around it. The chest has chains on it, and it looks very much to me like there is something trapped in that chest. Perhaps, just perhaps, we have to unlock that chest somehow. Perhaps, somehow we need to get the chains off of that chest, little spider. And perhaps that means that we need to very, very carefully make our way around this labyrinth. Ideally without falling in the lava. Now, I might be able to save myself from this certain doom here, but I doubt it very, very much. No, I died instantly. Fortunately, though, my spawn is set, and I can go straight back into that boss fight by going into the dungeon because I haven't lost all of my lives. So here we go. We're back here again. I've just got to be really careful not to die, basically. That's the key to staying alive, is not dying. Oh, jeez. Anyway, that is where I'm going to leave this little video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do another one which will explain all of the different mob types and variants, and also one going through lots and lots of different loot and things that you can get like that a little bit later on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do leave a like, and don't forget, if you want a chance to win all of those my coins, then make sure you comment on this video with the hashtag Infinity Dungeon. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!